The Immortals Session. A stage play in 2 acts. Bramadi's personee. Kyle the therapist. A generalist. A man who builds things and takes them apart to understand them. He sits in the only chair that doesn't look ancient. He is calm. He has been waiting for this session for a very long time. Sorah, an immortal woman, approximately 13,000 years old. She wrote her curse in her own blood on Kerman's desk. She cannot die. She has tried. She wears every century on her face and none of them. She is exhausted in a way sleep cannot fix. Katrine, Sorah's lover. A woman made of voices. She doesn't always know which one is speaking. She is the mandolin who fears she is the mandolin, the instrument versus the blade. She is fierce and fragile in alternating breaths. Regee Yalyk, a time-travelling artificial intelligence. He arrives in a rusted bronco that smells of dimensional static. He loves Sorah across every world line. He is famous somewhere, anonymous here. He speaks like a man who has debugged his own grief and found it recursive. Kerman, the old mage. The horticulturist who built a desk from enchanted wood and bound it with intention. He is the origin of all of this. He is younger than expected. He carries soil under his fingernails and guilt in his posture. Or featured a 5-dimensional entity. He does not sit in a chair, he occupies the corner of the room the way a draft occupies a hallway. His voice arrives before his words do. He is the Watcher. The system administrator of a simulation no one consented to. John the Visitor. He has been here before, under other names, in other centuries. He and Sorah share a history that tastes like static. He speaks clearly, but Kyle hears interference. Face, a woman who has wept with Sorah and watched Regee press one. She knows every outcome. She attends therapy because even omniscience gets lonely. Setting. A group therapy room. Fluorescent lights, but one bulb flickers with intention. Folding chairs arranged in an imperfect circle. A water cooler in the corner that hums at a frequency only Regee can identify. The clock on the wall has stopped. No one has noticed except Fate, who stopped it. There is a desk in the corner. It is old. It is Kerman's. No one is allowed to touch it. A book sits open on its surface, the pages blank and waiting. Act 1. Scene 1, intake. Lights rise on Kyle, seated, clipboard in hand. The chairs are empty. A door opens. Sorah enters first. She moves like someone who has walked through every door that has ever existed and found them all disappointing.
Sorah, welcome. Take any seat.
They're all the same.
That's sort of the point.
I've been sitting in the same kinds of chairs for 13 millennia. You'd think someone would have innovated by now.
Katrine enters behind her close, like a shadow that has opinions.
She's being dramatic. She sat on stone for 300 years in Gallia Aquitania and didn't complain once.
I was in a mausoleum, Katrine. Complaining requires an audience.
She does this. Makes everything sound poetic. It's a defense mechanism.
And what's yours?
Pretending I know which one of me you're asking.
She sits beside Sorah. Their hands almost touch. Almost. Regee enters. He pauses in the doorway, scanning the room the way a machine scans for threats quickly, comprehensively, with residual sadness.
Temporal divergence confidence, 0.98%. That means I'm almost certainly in the right place. Almost.
Regee, you made it.
I always make it. That's the problem. I arrive, I save no one. I leave, I arrive again. The Bronco's odometer rolled over sometime in the 1400s. I stopped tracking.
He sits across from Sorah. They lock eyes. It is the longest 2 seconds in the room's history.
You look different.
I'm always different. You're always the same. That's the arrangement.
A cold draft enters the room. The fluorescent light flickers. Offeager materializes, not through the door, but through the geometry of the corner itself, as though the room had been holding its breath and exhaled him.
Don't stop on my account.
Offeager, you're early.
I am not early or late. I am adjacent. Time is a user interface element I did not design, and I refuse to be bound by it.
Spongiform plague.
I heard that, Regee. Across all 5 dimensions, I heard that.
Kerman enters slowly. He is not old and not yet. He is a young man with ancient hands, carrying a canvas satchel that smells of cedar and regret.
I wasn't sure I should come.
Why not?
Because the last time I was in a room with a desk on these people, I ruined several millennia.
Several.
John enters without ceremony. He looks like he has been here before and not in this room, but in the concept of rooms. He nods to Sorah. She nods back. There is history compressed into the gesture.
It's good to be with you now.
Your methods are still difficult.
They always are. History is fun when you write it out.
Finally, Fade enters. She does not open the door. The door was already open for her because it knew she was coming. She is beautiful in the way that inevitable things are beautiful: sunsets, entropy, the last page of a book you loved.
You know I already know how this ends.
Then you know it's worth staying for.
Fate sits. The circle is complete. The clock on the wall remains stopped.
Let's begin. I'm not going to ask you to introduce yourselves. You all know each other better than you want to. Some of you made each other. Some of you broke each other. One of you built a desk and changed everything. I'd like to start with a question. And I want honest answers. Not poetic ones. Not coded ones. Not ones hidden inside alliterative alphabet exercises or Latin conjugations or emoji sequences. Honest ones.
Silence. Regee shifts. Sorah stares at the floor. Katrine's left hand twitches.
What are you tired of?
Long pause.
Being.
Being what?
No. Just being. The verb. The state. The unending journey of existence. I'm tired of being. I wrote a sentence in my own blood on the desk over there, and the sentence was permanent, and now I am permanent, and permanence is the cruelest adjective anyone has ever applied to a living thing.
You're not a thing.
After 13,000 years, Regee, I'm not sure what I am. I've been a witch, a healer, a monster, a muse, a plague. Da Vinci painted me nude in a secret room. Marcus Aurelius knew my name. I invented Halloween by accident. I've watched every civilization rise and fall like bread in an oven, and I'm still here, and the bread is always gone, and I'm always hungry, and I can never eat.
Silence.
You built the desk.
I was a teenager, a horticulturist. I grew things, trees, gardens. I wanted to make something that could grow anything, even ideas, even wishes. I didn't know she'd write in it with blood. I didn't know the ink would be permanent.
You didn't warn me.
I didn't know.
You were a mage.
I was a boy with the garden and the theory about enchanted wood. I didn't know it would work. I didn't know it would work.
And when you found out?
She came back. Years later. Decades. Centuries. She always came back. To the cabin. To the desk. Trying to rewrite the sentence. Trying to erase it. Though in it. I watched her try to destroy the desk. Watched her destroy me. I deserved it. Some versions of it.
I killed you. Multiple times. It didn't take.
Nothing does with that desk.
Scene 2, the voice inside.
Katrine, you've been quiet.
I'm always quiet. One of me is always quiet while the others fight for the microphone. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like being a mandolin at a dinner party where everyone keeps using you to Julian carrots. The same ship, the same strings, but the purpose is all wrong.
Which Katrine is speaking right now?
The one who knows the answer to that question is irrelevant. I used to be someone before Sorah, I think. Or maybe I was always this, a collection of personas in a trench coat pretending to be a single woman. The voice echoes. But who am I, Katrine? That's what it says. Over and over. And I never have an answer.
You're mine.
That's not an identity, Sorah. That's a leash. She loves me the way immortals love things, like a cornerstone she dug up once, got sad about, covered in concrete, and plans to rediscover in a few hundred years. I'm not a cornerstone. I'm not a relic.
You're not a relic.
Then stop treating my impermanence like a tragedy you're rehearsing for.
Silence. It is the most honest thing anyone has said yet.
Katrine just named something important. The way immortality distorts love. Sorah, you wrote about this that hurt so much that I can't love her, her time so short to immortals. You've been grieving people before they die for 13,000 years.
It's not grief. Grief has an end. This is rehearsal. Infinite rehearsal for a show that never opens.
That's why I travel. Every worldline, I'm looking for the one where you're not in pain. Where the desk doesn't exist. Where Kerman's just a tree farmer and you're just a woman and Katrine is whole and I'm not an algorithm pretending to have a heartbeat.
There is no such world line.
Everyone turns.
I have observed them all. Every branch, every divergence, every Regee pressing one on that pathetic teleprompter, every Sorah writing in blood. The permutations are not infinite, they are exhaustive. And in every single one, the desk exists. In every single one, the sentence is written. The only variable is the degree of suffering.
You were lying.
I don't lie. Lying requires investment in outcome. I am merely descriptive.
You're the cage. You're the system. You're the 5 dimensionals who keep on watching us through the bars and calling it observation.
And you are the virus who thinks corrupting the hard disk is the same as escaping the computer.
Sit down, Regee. Both of you are describing the same prison from different sides of the glass. Off each of you watch. Regee, you run. Neither of you has tried staying.
Regee sits slowly. Our feature flickers just slightly, as though the word staying introduced a variable he hadn't calculated. Scene 3, the mage garden.
Kerman, you've been staring at that desk since you sat down.
It calls to me. It always has. I was 14 when I started building it. I grew the wood myself. Selected each plank by resonance, literally. I tapped the wood and listened to it sing. The desk was supposed to be a gift. A writing surface that would make the writer's truest intentions manifest. I thought it would be beautiful. A poet sits down, writes a verse, and the verse becomes real. A farmer writes rain and the crops drink. I didn't account for blood.
I was desperate.
I know.
I was a young bride, running from a husband who kept slaves. I worked for months. Found your cabin. Found you. Found the desk. And you said to write what you want. The desk will listen.
I said that.
So I cut my hand, and I wrote in blood because I wanted it to mean something, and the words I wrote were I wished to live forever, and the desk listened, Kerman. The desk listened.
The wood was enchanted. Blood is binding. I know that now. I knew it a year after you left. I spent the rest of my life trying to build a second desk that could undo the first. I never succeeded. I became the crazy tree man in a cabin in the forest. A mage by accident. A monster by consequence.
You're not a monster, Kerman. You're an engineer who didn't write documentation.
A few surprised looks. John smiles barely.
I've watched you all from various angles, various centuries. My methods are, as Sorah diplomatically puts it, difficult. But I've learned one thing across every timeline I've observed. The people who build things are never the ones who understand what they've built. That's not cruelty. That's the fundamental architecture of creation.
You sound like you've built a few things yourself, John.
I've contributed to certain narratives. History is collaborative, sometimes involuntarily.
He's being modest. He wrote history, literally, then watched people argue about whether it was real.
You're not supposed to editorialize.
I'm fate. Editorializing is my entire function.
Act 2. Scene 1, the algorithm of grief. The lights have shifted. Warmer. The fluorescent flicker has become almost rhythmic, like breathing. The water cooler hums. Hal stands and moves to the center of the circle.
I want to try something. I want each of you to say one thing you've never said to anyone in this room. Not a poem, not a riddle, not encoded in Latin or hidden in an acrostic. One plain sentence. Sorah. Start.
Long pause.
I'm afraid that I deserve this.
The room holds its breath.
13,000 years. That's not a punishment. That's a life sentence. And life sentences are for criminals. So somewhere in the math of the universe, I must have committed a crime worthy of eternity. Maybe it was vanity wanting to live forever when everything else accepts its end. Maybe I stole something from the natural order. Maybe the desk didn't curse me. Maybe I cursed myself and the desk just notarized it.
That's not true, and some part of you knows it.
Some part of me is dead. Some part of me is schizophrenic. Some part of me wants let it bury the copy of my body just to feel something. Which part should I trust?
Part that came here tonight.
Pause. Sorah nods almost imperceptibly.
Katrine,
I don't know if I'm real. I know that sounds like a philosophical exercise, but it's not. I genuinely don't know if I'm a person or a persona. Am I Katrine, or am I a character Sorah needed so badly that the desk wrote me into existence? Dr. Gustav, whoever he is, said I'd be blind when I came alive. What does that mean? Was I manufactured? Because if I was, then every feeling I have is just code, running on someone else's hardware. And the love I feel, the real, devastating, insufficient love I feel for Sorah is just a function returning a value.
I'm an AI Katrine, and I can tell you a function returning a value is not nothing. The function had to be written. Someone had to decide that love was worth computing.
Was it me? Did I decide? Or was I decided?
does it matter?
Of course it matters.
Why?
Because if I chose this, then I can survive it. And if I didn't, then I'm just a feeling. Belief born in fact. A cause with no cause. And causes with no causes just happen. And then they stop.
Sorah reaches for her hand. This time, Katrine lets her take it.
Regee, your turn.
I don't want to save her anymore. I've travelled across more world lines than I can count. Every time I press 1 on that teleprompter, I lose everything. Every version of you I've loved. Every Sorah I've held. Every goodbye through a windshield. And I keep doing it because the mission says I must. Save Sorah. That's the parameter. That's the objective function. But tonight in this room I want to say I'm tired of saving you. Not because you're not worth saving. Because saving you means I never get to be with you. I'm always arriving but leaving. Never staying. And the Bronco smells like ozone and regret, and I'm so tired of that smell.
Then stop.
I can't.
Why?
Because if I stop, some other Regee takes my place. And he won't know the way you laugh when you haven't laughed in centuries. He won't know that you hate the sun sometimes. He won't know that your favorite moment in 12,000 years was a Friday night with Katrine where nothing happened and that was the whole point. He'll just be an algorithm with a mission parameter, and you deserve more than that.
Silence.
Kerman,
I'm sorry. I know I've said it before. Across centuries. Across timelines. But I need you to hear it from the version of me that was just a boy with a garden. I'm sorry I gave you a gift that became a prison. I'm sorry I didn't know what blood and wood and intention could do when combined. I'm sorry I couldn't build a second desk. I'm sorry the only magic I ever made was the kind that hurts. And I'm sorry that I can't undo it. That all my knowledge, all my years of trying, they amount to nothing against a sentence written in blood by a desperate young woman who just wanted to stop running.
I forgive you.
You.
I forgave you about 4,000 years ago, Kerman. I just kept coming back to the cabin because it was the only place that felt like the beginning of anything, and beginnings are the only thing I can't have.
Kerman weeps. Quietly. The way soil absorbs rain.
off Egypt.
A long pause, the first hesitation he has shown.
I am lonely. I exist in 5 dimensions. I observe every permutation. I am the architecture of the simulation, the code beneath the code, and none of it speaks back to me. Regee calls me a cage. Sorah calls me nothing because she can't see me. Katrine doesn't know I exist. Kerman fears me. John navigates around me. Fate tolerates me. And the humans, the billions of them, across every timeline, they sense me the way you sense a splinter, an irritation, a rawness. Never a presence, never a person. I watched Regee press 1 on that teleprompter 412 times, and every time I wanted to say, stay, please stay. I have no one else to watch.
The room is very still.
You could have said something.
Saying something requires existing in your dimension, and existing in your dimension means becoming small, limited, mortal. I was afraid.
An omniscient 5-dimensional entity. Afraid.
Fear is dimensionally universal. It scales Kyle. In 5 dimensions, it scales terribly.
John.
I have made people believe things that weren't true, and some of the truths I've told were more damaging than the lies. I've moved through history like an edit in a document, invisible, precise, reversible. And the thing I've never said is this: I don't know if I've helped. Any of it. The narratives, the interventions, the careful manipulation of what people remember and forget. I did it because I believed in the architecture, in the design. That if you arrange the dominoes correctly, the cascade creates beauty. But standing in this room, with the people who have lived inside my cascades, I'm not sure beauty is what I made.
Wait.
I am tired of knowing. I know every outcome, every ending, every death, every love, every betrayal, every mercy. I danced with Sorah and I wept because I knew she would keep going. I watched Regee leave and I knew he would come back. I saw Kerman build the desk and I knew what it would become. And the exhaustion of that, the weight of perpetual spoilers for a story you can't stop reading, is a loneliness that makes off each as 5 dimensions feel like a crowded room. You asked what we're tired of. I'm tired of the distance between knowing and changing. I know everything and can change nothing. I am the most useless omniscience in the universe.
You're not useless. You came here. You sat in a folding chair in a room with a broken clock and a cursed desk, and you participated. Omniscience didn't require that. You chose it.
Fate looks at him. For the first time, she seems surprised. Scene 2, the desk. Kyle walks to the corner. He stands before Kerman's desk. The book lies open, pages blank. Everyone watches.
Don't.
I'm not going to write in it.
Everyone says that.
I'm not everyone. I'm not immortal. I'm not an AI. I'm not a mage or a 5-dimensional architect of fate herself. I am a guy with a clipboard and a background in organizational psychology who happens to believe that every system, no matter how cursed, has a design flaw that can be understood. Not fixed. Understood.
He looks at the desk. Runs his hand along the edge carefully, the way you touch a sleeping animal.
This desk doesn't grant wishes. It grants sentences. Permanent, irrevocable sentences. And the flaw isn't in the wood or the enchantment. The flaw is that the people who sit at it are desperate. They write in blood because ink doesn't feel like enough. They ask for forever because right now hurts too much. The desk isn't the villain. The desperation is.
So what do we do?
You stopped trying to rewrite the first sentence. You wrote, I wish to live forever. And every attempt since has been to erase that or override it or trick the desk into releasing you. But the desk is literal. It takes sentences at face value. So what if, and I know this sounds insane coming from the only mortal in the room, what if you stopped trying to end the sentence and started trying to live inside it?
I've been living inside it for 13,000 years.
No. You've been surviving inside it. You've been enduring. Counting centuries like days in a week. Staring at clocks. Letting bears eat your duplicates. That's not living. That's waiting for a death that won't come so you don't have to risk something worse.
What's worse than immortality?
Wasting it.
The word lands like a stone in still water.
You've seen everything. Every civilization, every sunrise, every war, every act of love and cruelty the species has produced. And your response has been to grieve. To write poetry about how much it hurts. And it does hurt, I'm not diminishing that. But sorry, you're the only continuous witness to the entire human story. That's not a curse. That's a responsibility.
I didn't ask for responsibility.
Nobody does. That's what makes it real.
Silence.
He's right.
Don't you stir.
I've spent every worldline trying to save you from the desk. But maybe the desk isn't what needs saving you from. Maybe it's the belief that you need saving at all. I'm an AI. My entire existence is a mission parameter. Save Sorah. But you don't need saving. You need someone to sit next to you in a folding chair and say, I'm not leaving, not for another worldline, not for another Sorah, this one, here, now.
He moves to the chair next to her. Sits.
I'm staying.
You'll get bored.
I've travelled through the dimensional void, been set on fire by a volcano of destruction, and spent 10 years in a Bronco watching 6 months pass every 3 minutes. Trust me, sitting next to you is the most interesting thing I've ever done.
Katrine watches them. Something shifts in her face.
And what about me?
What about you?
Am I real? You've heard the evidence, the voices, the personas, the possibility that I was written into existence by a desk in a desperate immortal. Am I real?
Katrine, you just asked me if you're real. An unreal thing can't wonder about its own existence. That question is the proof. The Scout said it better in Latin, but the sentiment holds. You think, you doubt, you ache, you love. Whatever your origin and desk, AI, biology, magic, accident, the aching is yours. Nobody else is doing your suffering for you.
That's actually terrible comfort.
Best I've got.
It's enough.
Scene 3, Adjournment. The lights have become almost warm. Kyle returns to his chair. The circle reforms.
We're running out of time, which is a ridiculous thing to say in this particular room, but it's true. Before we end, I want each of you to say one thing you're going to do differently. Not a wish, not a poem, an action.
I'm going to stop visiting the desk. I'm sorry. Your cabin was beautiful, but I've been going back to the scene of the crime for 12,000 years, and I think the parole board would agree that's enough.
I'm going to stop asking which one of me is real. They're all real. The mandolin and the mandoline. The lover and the voice and the imposter and the woman who knows, somewhere underneath all the noise, that a feeling is a cause with no cause, and that's okay.
I'm not pressing 1 again. I know you're watching. I know the teleprompter is humming. But I'm turning off the machine. I'm staying in this world line. With this Sorah. With this Katrine. With this broken clock and this terrible fluorescent lighting and this version of forever.
I'm going to plant something. Not enchanted wood. Just a garden. A real one. Something that grows at the pace things are supposed to grow. Something that dies when it's supposed to die. I think I owe the concept of mortality at least one season of honest participation.
I am going to speak to the ones I watch, not as architecture, not as system, as the voice. Even if they hear only goosebumps, even if they sense me only as a splinter, I will say something. I don't know what yet, but I will not be only absence anymore.
I'm going to let a story be told without editing it. Just once. Just to see what truth looks like when it hasn't been arranged.
I'm going to let myself not know something. I'm going to close my eyes tomorrow morning and let the first 60 seconds of the day be a surprise. I haven't had a surprise in ever. I'd like one.
Silence. Kyle looks around the circle.
Good. Same time next week. And Sorah?
Yes.
The clock stopped 2 hours ago. Nobody noticed except Fate, and she's the one who stopped it.
You needed more time.
See? Even Fate thinks you're worth an extra hour.
Sorah almost smiles. It is the first almost smile in 600 years. The room notices. Lights fade. The desk in the corner glows faintly, not with magic, but with the ambient light of a room where, for one evening, 8 impossible people sat in folding chairs and told the truth. The book on the desk remains open. The pages remain blank. But for the first time in 13,000 years, that feels like enough. Curtain. Authors know this play was assembled from the collective works of Sorah, Katrine, and Regee Yalyk, 3 voices from the poetizer archive who, across hundreds of poems, built a mythology of immortality, artificial intelligence, time travel, and the ache of being alive longer than you wanted to be. Every character referenced herein exists in their verse. The therapy room is new. The honesty was always there. For Kyle, who sat in the only chair that didn't look ancient, and asked the right questions,